Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name's Harriet. I'm in another filming location because the front of our house is being teared out and so is the roof. So I can't film in my regular room, so I really hope that the lighting is okay. I just rely on natural light. I don't have any of these fancy lights or anything, so fingers crossed it is okay. But today I'm going to talk through some books that I'm getting rid of, so it's like a little unhaul. I will give you reasons for why I'm getting rid of them, but basically the overall reason is that I don't have enough space to keep all of these books. So we will just talk through them and I'll let you know which ones I'm going to get rid of. I always give all of my books to either charity or I save some for book swaps, so I can leave some and take some at the little libraries that are close to my house. So yeah, half of these I will keep in the back of my car, which sounds like I'm a bit of a hoarder, but I am not. They will be going to the book swaps and then the others I will take to charity. So yeah, let's just get into this. The first one I'm unhauling is actually one that I recently got from a book swap, so I will probably take it back to that one, and it is a poetry collection. So it is The Heeding by Rob Cowan and illustrated by Nick Hayes. There was nothing wrong with this. It was just more modern than I was anticipating. Obviously from the front cover, it looks like it would deal with kind of like ancient side of England, but it's actually dealing with COVID and talking about things that happened within the time when we were in lockdown, which I found very interesting. But for me, the poetry just didn't flow in a way that I liked. It honestly wasn't flowery enough. But it was kind of funny in certain aspects, so if you like a very light-hearted poetry, then I would definitely recommend picking this up and giving it a go, but it's just not for me, so someone else can enjoy it. The next book I'm going to get rid of is actually a book that I have another edition of, so that is why I'm getting rid of it, and that is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. I picked up a different edition that I prefer, so I will be giving this away. I will probably give this to a charity shop because I feel like people will really appreciate it. And it's likely to get bought, so then the money can go to charity, which is amazing. The next book I actually bought from a charity shop, so I'll probably take it back. And that is a short story by Philip Pullman called Serpentine. This is within the His Dark Materials kind of series, and I have got a review for this in my wrap-up, so I'll leave that link down below. I did enjoy this, but I'm just never going to reread it. It wasn't very long. If you didn't know kind of the story behind the His Dark Materials series, we are following a young girl called Lyra, and in the world that she lives in, your soul is kind of outside of your body and it takes the form of an animal, and she went through a lot of stuff in the original trilogy, and this is a little glimpse into the relationship between her and her demon, which is the animal soul type thing. It's following them after the events that happened in the first 3 books within the series. So it was very interesting and it's a nice way to get back into the series, but I'm just never going to reread it, so again, someone else can enjoy it. The next book again I spoke about in my wrap up, and that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. It's not that I didn't enjoy this book, it's just that I didn't think it was as good as what everyone else said. So I'll probably leave this at a book swap so that people don't spend money and feel disappointed. At least they can kind of get it for the price of swapping out a book if it's at a book swap. So this was an okay book. It's talking about a girl who is really depressed and she tries to commit suicide, and she gets sent to this place between life and death called the Midnight Library, where she can pick up books to read that kind of have glimpses into lives that she could have lived. And it's talking about the meaning of life and why it's so important and precious. So it was quite cute. Again, I go more in depth in my wrap up, but I'm just never going to reread this, so I'm going to give it away. The next book I actually really did love, but again, I'm just not going to reread it because I know what happens and I don't think I'd have that emotional connection and it wouldn't have the impact. So that is One Day by David Nichols. I have another of this author's books, so I'm going to read that instead. My mum also read this and absolutely loved it. It's a very heartbreaking and interesting, in-depth look into the lives of these 2 people that meet when they're in college and where they are on the same day over a period of many years, and their relationship and how it kind of changes over time, how they change as people and how they work around each other. And it is really beautiful. I did really enjoy this book, and it's also quite funny but deals with some really dark and intense topics, and I think it did it very well. But again, it's just not something that I'm going to pick up. I have other books that are kind of similar to this that I enjoyed even more, so I'm hoping that this will go to someone that was surprised like I was at how good it is. The next book I was actually going to keep, and I've thought about getting rid of it for a really long time, but I didn't want to because it looked really beautiful. However, I've kind of moved past that point. I don't have space in my life to keep all of these books, especially with everything going on with the house. I need to move all of my books into a different place, and it's made me realise just how many I own. So I'm going to get rid of this, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is a beautiful time travel novel about this cafe where you can go back to a period of time, but it's done through coffee. So your coffee is poured, and by the time the coffee gets cold, you have to come back. You have to have finished your coffee. And if not, something will happen, which you do find out in the book. And it's following a couple different people and how their lives intertwine in their stories. And it is very beautiful. Again, focuses in on that kind of grief aspect and the meaning of life. And it is such a lovely front cover, so hopefully someone will be attracted to this and pick it up because it is a really lovely book. The next one was actually a present for Christmas, I believe, so I always feel guilty about getting rid of books like that. But again, I'm not going to read it, so it can go to someone else. And I did have a really lovely time with it, but it's just not good enough for me to keep. And that is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. I've done a little review for this. I can't remember if it's up or not. Yeah, I think it is. If it is up, I'll leave it down below. But this is a dystopian novel following a woman who is never named, and she's living on this island in a society where things are disappearing daily, so they could get rid of books, and you living within society would have to burn all of your books, and then you would gradually forget about them. And that's how it is dealt with in this novel. So it's a little bit different to other ones that I have read. I did really like it, but it just didn't go deep enough or far enough for me, and I wanted a bit more from it. The next book is another I picked up at a book swap, and I've actually read this book already, but I preferred this edition, and now I realise I'm never going to read it again because I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the best book ever, and that is actually a classic. It's Jana by Charlotte Bronte. I liked the themes discussed in this, and I thought it was quite a sweet novel. So we're following Jana, and she becomes governess to the daughter of this man called Mr. Rochester, and it's about their relationship with each other, differences in society and class, which is always kind of discussed in these classic books. But again, it's just really long and I can't see myself picking it up again. The next two books both have kind of similar vibes and covers to them, but they're actually too sad for me to want to pick up again. So that is why I'm getting rid of them. I did really love both of these books, and I think they have beautiful messages, but I just can't bring myself to pick them up ever again. However, I have lent these to some people and they've read them as well already, which is really important and beautiful. And I'm glad that I've given them a chance to read these books. So it's nice to know they've already gone to a good home, but now they're going to go to another good home. So the first one is The Travelling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa. I read this a really long time ago actually, I can hardly remember the story, but we're following this cat and his owner, and the owner is trying to find a new owner for the cat because something is going on, which you find out at the end of the book. And it was just really sad, but also incredibly funny because some of it is written from the perspective of the cat. And the cat is very sassy and very kooky. And I did really love this book. It's so beautiful, it's so well written and really emotional, but it's almost too emotional for me, so I'm not going to pick it up again. And the same goes for The Guest Cat by Takashi Hireidi. This is another one of those books that focuses in on the owners of the cats, but it's actually a stray cat that visits this couple over many years, and it's about the couple's relationship and how it's changed over the years, and then when this cat comes into the picture, how their relationship develops even more surrounding this lovely little cat. So it's a very cute book. It's extremely short, but I think because it is so short, that's kind of why I don't want to keep it, because it didn't have as much of an impact on me as other books that I have read. It just didn't give me enough time to get attached to the characters and feel that real emotional impact. So this one is going as well. So yeah, I'm being quite brutal with the books that I'm getting rid of. I do feel a bit bad about the ones with the cats on the front covers because they're so cute and they were really lovely. But I do think that they deserve to go to a home that is actually going to read them now. So yeah, those are all of the books that I'm getting rid of for now. I may be getting rid of some more in the future. I'm gradually getting through my physical TBR, but it is pretty intense at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. Do let me know if you've read any of these books. Also let me know if you like to unhaul books, and also what you do with the books that you are getting rid of. Do you give them to charity? Do you give them to friends? Do you go to book swaps? But yeah, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!